Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to what's this? Western New York the weekly the show. Just
Yes.
welcome to the show, the Western New York Real Estate Show. I'm
Yeah.
Chuck Flynn
We
with
were
Hannah
live from
Kelly,
Western
Howard
New
Hanna.
York for a while, and then
We
we were
were,
Western New York Weekly,
yeah,
and then we just started saying the show with Chuck and Lisa.
right.
Maybe we do need a rebrand, a formal name.
Maybe we need to ask our audience if you've got an idea. What do you think the show should be called? Let's get some input.
Yes.
So if you got an idea, put it in the comments. Send me a message. Send Lisa a message. Let me put our emails up at the bottom of the screen. We can do that. We've got. Let me find our emails in the comments here. Hey, and please let us know who you are, where you're watching from. Put it on the comment on the Facebook thread there, and so we can say hi and welcome everybody. Now these are our direct cell phone numbers. Which is kind of funny because we talked to, I mean, granted, I put my cell phone number out to the public. I don't care. Right.
Right.
But why does it feels different on Facebook when I'm on Facebook and I put my cell phone number on it's different. It feels different.
Yeah.
Is
I
it
got over
different?
that a long time ago. I can remember one time a friend of mine saying, "Did you just give your number to that person?" I'm like, "Do you know how easy I am to find?" Like,
Right.
there's no secrecy when you're a real estate professional.
No.
Like, your name,
Right.
your picture is everywhere. And so when people call you, it's like, "Oh, of course you got my name."
All right. I
Um,
see the banner here with our emails. So I'll change it over to emails, but you're right. Like if it's hard to find you, you need to talk to your manager.
yeah, right? Like, we're trying
That's a
to make it
problem that needs to
easy.
get solved for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Um, I'm still on Lisa. I'm still buzzing over HannahCon. I got to tell you, don't
Yeah.
you feel that way?
Yes. Yes.
Right?
And, I think for me, so I was able to watch a little bit of the show last week. As you know, I was unavailable.
Yeah.
But I listened a little bit in the car, but I extended HannahCon and made a family vacation out of it. One of my kids was able to come down, so we did some Disney parks, we did Universal, we hung out by the pool. It was a really great vacation.
Uh huh.
And so to go from like all the like brain filling information at HannahCon to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter to Magic Kingdom, and then to come back, it's like, okay, it's still all buzzing up in there. And then what I love is we get the updates from the various companies that we met with, right? So like you're getting an email from Brian Buffini and
Yep.
you're getting emails from all these different things. And so it's kind of forced some time to synthesize all that we've absorbed. And now to go back and say, okay, what do I really want to do? I was told at a young age that some of the easiest people to sell to are salespeople. And so,
Yeah.
like, you're in HannahCon and you're like, oh, this looks great. This looks great. This looks great. But
Yeah.
then you come back and you say, okay, let me think about what's going to work in my business. And before the cameras were on, Chuck and I were talking about something that he wants to use, which is tell us a little bit about that and why you picked that one spot, like that one tool, because it offered something others hadn't.
Yeah. No. So right. So I went. So at HannahCon, I went to the session for I went to the session. The first session I went to was about teams and helping agents grow and support and what different things about teams. And one of the agents mentioned this app they use called CapCut. Not and full disclosure, not a paid endorsement. I have no, I'm not there. CapCut. CapCut, if you want to send me some cash, go for it.
Yeah.
I'll receive it. Um, so donate it to Children's Free Care Fund. That'd be great. So anyway, but it's called CapCut, CAPCUT, and so oh boy, so I think we might have to. All right, so I just see a little reminder here, and something. This is the second show. All right, so back to CapCut. So, super great. And what it does is and it's another thing I've come from the making videos and taking photos of property. Um, Usually we're in landscape format, right? We're in,
Mhm.
short, tall, and
Mhm.
wide to fit
Mhm.
the computer
That.
screen. Right. We're always doing that. But what's interesting is I feel like the content is being consumed more and more and more in the other orientation. And and when you're at your property and you're taking pictures and if you're going to create a video of your property, you need to do it both ways. And all these apps, like especially like CapCut, most of the templates for creating these little 20-second, 30-second reels and different little short videos, they're almost most of the templates are in portrait orientation. And if you haven't created that content from the beginning in that orientation, it's just not going to match up. You're not going to get the face. It's going to be a mess.
Right.
So, anyway, I found I found one that I liked on CapCut. They send me an email every morning. Hey, this template is hot. We think you might like it. And I go, okay, maybe I'll try it. So I popped in a few video examples from HanaCon, and I hit, and it took me 2 minutes. It took me 2 minutes. And then I hit boom, play. And when I played it, I said, oh my God, I love that. And part of the reason I loved it is because it put a new and trendy, really popular song behind it that was really exciting. And we forget about that side of it, that when we're creating something, it's not just about we're selling houses, but it's not just about what they see. It's also about what they're hearing.
Yes.
And in this case, it wasn't a property video. I literally did another video from HanaCon because I have such great video from the thing. It was because it was just so great. But I love it, and I shared it, and people like it already. And so I think you should check it out. CapCut, CapCut, CapCut. It's free, and I mean you can do a paid version if you want. It's not very expensive if you want to do a paid version, but I'm sticking with the free as long as I can.
I think that, and it's funny how different things appeal to different people. And those of you who know me, I'm a rule follower, right? I think you're just born that way. And so one of the issues for me has always been I like that song, but do I have the right to share that song? Right? I don't want to go to jail for sharing a song. But if you use a company like that, they're going to make sure that what you're using, they have the rights to use, and you therefore have the rights to use because you're going from them. So it's super, to me, that's one of the great reasons to use a company like that is I'm buying protection, right?
Yeah.
I'm buying their research into what is. That's why, a lot of times we talk about using Canva. If you use a graphic in Canva, you are buying or getting the rights to use that, rather than I download an image from the internet and then find out later I didn't have the right to that image. I didn't give proper credit, and now someone's suing me.
Yep.
So we have to be very careful with intellectual property right now.
I think these apps are really good they've figured out that they need to make it do you remember when in computers plug and play was the buzzword, right? You could get a new peripheral. It's just plug and play.
Yeah.
Because these computer stores, I mean, think like CompUSA or, Circuit City, or I think any of the ones that have gone out of business. But I'm sure they were tired of, they couldn't handle people. Everyone needed support, and they go, oh my God, the support. You know what? It's plug and play. Just move on. So these apps have had to figure out the same thing. Basically, they're plug and play apps now. We've got it. Here's the template. Just link up with your video and photo library. Boom, boom, boom. And it said, then there was a text box that had a text overlay. And so all I had to do was click on that box and change it from what it was to do edit HanaCon 2024. Now it's a HanaCon 2024 video. Love it.
Yeah. And, I think, we're going to talk a little bit too about stats and how you can share stats and get some relevance and good information out that way. But I think, if you still haven't done a video yet, right? If you haven't done one, hopefully you're getting ideas, you're getting things okay, and now it's in your mind. I want to do a video. What am I going to do a video of? Right.
Yeah.
And it could be, we were just talking again prior, Chuck's going to go somewhere else in the state coming up. I'm going somewhere else in the country. Now it's in my head. Okay. When I go to these places, okay, this is, I'm going somewhere that's a 2-hour, say, flight from Buffalo. You're going somewhere that's a 2-hour drive from Rochester. And now if you want to do a video that's hey, are you looking for a drivable vacation? Now, I'm going to take some video this way. I'm going to take some video this way. I want to get a 30-second snippet of the Carrier Dome or, whatever, to be hey, this is close by. and you're picking up some ideas of how you can share interesting things that isn't. I always say we don't always want to be buy a house, buy a house, buy a house. We want to be live here because, right? Housing here is great because, maybe you're just going to do a walk around your neighborhood and point out some different architectural styles, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's the benefit? I love the idea of a little English looking cottage. I think they're
Yeah.
just great and adorable. But what's a benefit to living there, right? Like,
Right.
maybe talk a little bit more about the architecture in your area.
Right.
I was talking to somebody about a house. I'm like, oh, it's not that old. When was it built? 1930. We have beautiful old housing stock. It's nice to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so again, when we're talking about stats and we're talking about real estate stats, like that can be anything. What's the average age of a home in your marketplace, right? We talk about the
Yeah.
average price. What's the average age of a home, right? Like, is a new house
Right.
built in the 70s?
In my area, well, sometimes like what is, yeah, in our area, I mean, I live in our community, most of our homes are older. We don't have a lot of new builds. My house was built in 1989, and it's probably in the newest 10% of homes in
Yeah.
our area for sure.
So, when you think about stats, like what information can you provide? And we think about, okay, days on market, Chuck found some great stuff to share. But even when you get into some other statistics, like what's the average size of a home, right? Like,
Mhm.
you walk into someone's house, oh, it feels big, it feels small. Well, how is it compared to the area? What are people looking for these days?
Yeah.
So in
Okay.
any event, let's
Well,
so let's talk a little bit about stats.
yeah. I mean, people like to say, how's the market? And when they ask well, first of all, I always celebrate when they say, how's the market? They don't really care. They want to know, what's my house worth? Okay. But that being said, in order to know what their house is worth, guess what? You got to know some numbers, right? You got to know trends. You got to say
Yes.
this. If you can say, and if you can dazzle them, you literally don't have to know all the stats. If you can know 1, 2 stats would be amazing. But if you can know one solid stat that they're like, oh, really? Wow. And then you want to pivot over to what's their house worth, right? Say, oh my, you know what? Prices were up 9.9% last month over the same month in the last year. They go, really? Still housing values are up almost 10%? Yes,
Yeah.
still almost 10%. And you're getting the compounding effect of that value increase, right? It's
Right.
not 10% over the value from 2017. It's 10% over the value that had gone up 10%, 10%, 10%. Like, it's
Yeah.
literally the law of compounding returns. So that
Right.
10% is worth more than the 10% was 5 years ago. It's bananas that way. It's great.
And what I love about it too, Chuck, is if someone says, how's the market? It's kind of like, I know we just came off of draft weekend. There's a lot of talk about
Yeah.
sports and the players and the interviews. And it's like, if someone asks you a question, right? How do you feel about being drafted by whatever team?
Yeah.
You can choose how to answer that question, and then you can pivot to the stuff you want to talk about, right? Like, so if they
Yeah.
say, how's the market, you're going to go into what you know. So talk about this slide here, because if someone asks me how's the market, and I know what you're looking at, and you know what you're looking at,
Yep.
you are going to answer the questions you want to answer out of it.
So I remember my first year in real estate, I was participating in our Genesee County home show. And we partnered up with another agent to take different slots, of time throughout the show, because we had, so many agents want to participate. And I was new, right? I was brand new. And the agent I was matched up with, somebody walked up to the booth, and she introduced herself, and she said, right now there are, it was like 61 houses on the market in Batavia. And right now in the county, there's, but like literally right away, she said, right now there is this. And my God,
Did you go,
poof, my head, I was like, what? And I go, holy crap, this girl knows her stuff. Right. And I was impressed,
you were like, you should use her.
Right? Whoa. What? So I realized very, very quickly that you've got to know your stuff. And our dashboards make it pretty, like the information's out there. It's not that hard to get. this is our market stats in Rochester off our GRA dashboard. This is called Domus. This is provided by Domus Analytics. We used to have, I forget what the other one was called. This actually doesn't dive like as nitty gritty into different levels like the old one did.
Yeah.
I talked when Jim was on, Jim Yackel was on with us a couple weeks ago, and I had asked him about that, and he said, Chuck, he goes, I said, I used to like how you could get moved from a 3-bedroom to a 4-bedroom. He said, oh, well, you're the 1%. He goes, no, nobody was really using that. So we got this other thing that's a lot easier to just get little screen grabs, share on social media. And this is great. So median sale price, 8.2%. 8.2%. And you know what? If you don't remember 8.2% and you tell your market, you know what? Houses are up about 8%. That's close enough, right? That's great. And here it is. According to Domus Analytics, that gets all our data from all our MLSs across everywhere, the price is up 8%. That's great news. Okay. We got 355 closed transactions. So pricing is up 8%, but our closed transactions, it's only down by 2%. So that's good. I mean, that means overall market volume is going up, right? Which is good for agents, good for everybody. It's good for our economy. So just pick out a couple little pieces of data.
Yeah. And we, for those of you who are in the Buffalo, the Reese MLS, we also have market statistics. We can dive a little deeper still, Chuck. But so you might want to tailor yours to like the town that you do the most work in, or you look at, okay, I want to share these statistics. I'm going to share them once a week. So every month I'm going to do 4 different, or once a week, I'll do 4 different places so that every month I've got something once a week. So you definitely, all right. See, there you go. Okay.
See? Okay. I got it. Yeah. Howard Hanna has the answer for that, right?
Right.
So, Colleen, I've got the answer for that. Lisa Hamburg. There you go.
So it looks good.
And well done. Hamburg office. You're up 9.5%, 23 closed sales.
Thank you. So share the statistics and then put a little information underneath and then put your call to action, right? I love one of our agents in one of our mid-city offices did a great program talking about numbers. And I think, Chuck, you did one too, where you self-imposed yourself over the numbers. Was that you or someone else talking about them? And it was like, so you're there, the numbers are behind you and you're explaining it, right? There's a difference between data and information, right? There's the data. I can stare at it. Information, like, now what do I do with it? What does this mean? Right.
So you got to listen, you got to put your name on it. And even better than your name is put your face on it.
Yeah.
When you're creating content for social media, so content with faces performs exponentially higher than content like without faces, right? There's a whole level, text gets this much, blah, blah, blah. You go up level, video is the best. But if it's video, but without you, it's just not, people aren't in. We have this thing as people that we react to faces. So that's what that virtual green screen, which is another thing I learned at HannahCon about on Instagram, using it as your video creator. And you can, I mean, I can go on my phone, I can go on to our board, on the web browser on my phone, and I can click the market stats button and I can quick grab a screenshot of this exactly what I did. This whole stat, this screen or whatever, I screenshotted it. And then on Instagram, I used the virtual green screen effect to remove the background and then superimpose this as my background. It took 2 seconds, and then I did a quick video, boom, hit up. Jared and James in his thing, he said, I fired my marketing team and I just started doing this.
Yeah. And I will say, Chuck, listening to this, right? Like, and maybe you agree, I sometimes find it takes longer to explain how to do something than to actually do it.
Yes.
But you need to do it like 3 or 4 times before you're doing it like without thinking. So don't be afraid if the first time it's like, what did he say? How did he do that? I mean, I think that's one of the reasons we share our email and our cell phones. Like, we want to help you. We want to see more people doing it. Like, I love it because yes, we're connected to other realtors, right? By virtue of what you and I do, Chuck.
Yeah.
But if I'm a salesperson, if I'm an associate broker, and I'm out there marketing, like, my friends, hopefully, are not friends with 40 other realtors like you and I are. Like, sometimes realtors are like, well, I don't want to share it because everybody's going to see what I'm doing. Don't worry about it. Your clients are going to see what you're doing. Your future clients, your sphere of influence is going to talk about it and be like, hey, I like that. And I'm sure that, in your messaging, you're saying, call me if you want to know more. Call me if you want to know the exact price of your home. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, don't ever. I say that all the time. Don't listen. First of all, there's no new ideas. Whatever you're thinking about doing, somebody's already done it. Somebody's already thought of it, and they're not they didn't when they did it. They didn't do it because they were going to be the only ones doing it.
Yeah.
It's only going to work with you. With you, it's going to work with your people, right?
Yes.
Lisa, you and I could do all the exact same stuff. We're both going to get the same benefit from it. For you, it's going to work with your people. For me, it's going to work with my people. And that's fine. That's
Right.
what makes real estate work so well. That's that's why I love it. So that's why I'm willing to share every single thing that I learn with everybody, because I believe it just raises us all up, and I get a benefit from that. I get an extension of my why, as it spreads and helps other people that I can't reach. I can't reach your people. Oh my God, it's way too many. It's banana. I can't reach everybody. It's too much.
Yeah. And we want to reinforce our knowledge. Like, that's what I like about this. Is we're taking what we're learning and we are sharing it with people because that gives them some more information.
Yeah.
And if you haven't already heard, a hot topic is proving your value, right? We've been talking about it almost a year with all of our training, and what we've been doing as a company. And now, I do, again, you customize what's out there.
Sure.
Realtor.com has a nice thing about, you want to buy a house. Here's 111 things you need to do. Or you can do one thing, call a realtor and have them do everything for you. And when you look, at that list of 111 things that we do, it's huge. It's huge what we do for people.
So I want to show this because this is beyond our local stats. So on my dashboard, on my board dashboard, I can click the button for NAR. Okay. I can go to the NAR homepage, and guess what NAR likes to do? I mean, they share numbers. That's one of their primary functions, is to share the stats, to give the data, to track this, to track that. So because big decisions have to be made, in order to make those decisions, you need information, you need data. So I saw this. It says nationwide changes in rents versus home prices since COVID. And like all the real estate charts right now, up and to the right. Right. Which is great. But look at this. Home prices are up 44% while rents are up 18%. And so this is what makes this so fantastic. Home prices are up 44%. So for anyone, like, you need to buy now because it's up and to the right, and it's still going up and to the right. The thing is for all the homeowners, home prices are up. That means home values are up. That means you're getting return on you own the house. Rents are up 18%. You don't own the house. That means your costs are up 18%, right? Home prices, that means your portfolio, your investment nest egg, your blah, blah, blah. It's up 44% since COVID. Like, that's the story. Right? I wouldn't look at this and say, oh, well, I'd rather rent because the cost to rent have gone up only 18%, while house prices, no, because they're totally different.
Yes.
Right. And then this was another interesting one here. Now, this was actually this whole chart, this whole PowerPoint from the NAR website. NAR was about rent, the rent. I forget the title of. Let me go back up to the top and see what the title was. The National Real Estate Forecast Summit 2024 rental market. So this was all data about rentals. But rentals, there's information there. Like, rentals affect our market. We don't work with a lot of rentals, but there's no question it definitely is part and parcel with the real estate home sales market. This was really interesting though. Rent inflation is receding. Okay. And why, who looks at rent? Who looks at the rental rates and the cost of rent? What is that a part of? Like they call that part. Well, they actually use the word inflation, right? And one of the problems we've had recently with interest rates going up is they've used that as a tool to try to combat inflation. And until inflation goes down, they won't reduce those mortgage interest rates.
Right.
So here's something that's saying, hey, rent inflation is receding. So maybe this is an indicator that inflation is not going to continue at the high levels that it was. It's going to recede, and we can look forward in the future to some lower mortgage rates. So we need to reach our buyers and make sure they're ready. So when that happens, that's what our whole jobs are about, being ready for when it happens. When the perfect thing happens, you need to be ready, because we tell people all the time, you don't want to miss it because you weren't ready.
Right.
So get ready. Look at this. It's coming.
I also think, Chuck, like when you say we don't do a lot of, and our office doesn't do a lot of rentals here either, but we sure sell a lot of 2-family homes. We sure work with a lot of people who want to buy and sell investment property. So if you're looking at trends of rents and you're looking at a 2 or 3 unit as an investment, you want to be aware that dip is coming. So when you're looking at pricing, when you're looking at rates of return, you want to be looking forward, not just at what's been happening. So again, good information to know if you're pricing a double, a triple, if you are looking at someone who wants to buy one of those, to make appropriate thoughts about it. Not that we're going to control or we're going to speak to what could or should happen in the future, but we just want to be aware of what the trends are. And this is a great way to do it. When
you get a couple little nuggets of these kind of stats in your brain, you don't, like I said, you don't need to be an expert on everything, but you need to be an expert on something.
Yes.
So that you can establish your authority, and then boom, just pivot over to their house. What's it worth? Hey, when can I come over? I'm offering these home equity updates. Would you like me to come over on Saturday or next Tuesday?
Right.
Just give you a little equity update. Oh, why would I want an equity update? Don't you want to know?
Right. And because if 44% is the average, some houses have gone up more and some houses have gone up less.
It's just the average. Exactly.
Right. So
I would say a third have gone up by more, a third are average, and a third have gone up by less.
Exactly. So where am I? Where am I in that? Which third am I in?
Right.
Chuck, tell me.
But Lisa, you know what? Lisa, you're not moving anytime soon, so you don't care what your house is worth. Why do you care? You're not moving.
Because my town's doing a revaluation and I want to know if it's accurate.
Okay. Yeah, that's one reason. Another thing I might say is, well, Lisa, do you have any type of investment? Do you have any type of 401k or IRAs? Do you own any individual stock, any securities?
Yes.
Do you never look at what those are worth until the day you want to actually liquidate and find out what you've got there?
Right. And then,
of course not.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, those companies that manage all that for you, they have to send you quarterly reports. It's the rule. Like every year that your advisor has to touch base with you, right?
Yes.
He's got to I need an update. Do you still want this allocation? Like, it's a law that has to happen.
Can you imagine if we put that in our thing? Like when I sell you a house, I'm committing to give you a quarterly update of the value.
Oh my, maybe we should.
Right.
That, or at the very least, an annual update on an equity review for your property.
My commitment to you when I represent you as a buyer is an annual property review.
Okay, that is, you know what, Lisa, that's worth.
Oh wow, a second. All right. Well, listen, we promised we were going to keep our shows to under half an hour. And
we've got a big Wednesday webinar coming on right now.
Yes. So we need to jump off because Real Scout Pro is going to be unbelievable. And if you had been resisting Real Scout, now's the time to say, I've got to give this a look because you're going to love it.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, if you weren't at Howard Hanna and you wanted to buy Real Scout Pro, I believe it's $129 a month.
Yeah.
because I had an agent looking at growing it and doing extra with it, and they are so glad they didn't purchase it because now we all get it at no additional cost.
Well,
So
I looked at similar companies when I was at Triple Play, and I did a like the virtual consult with the sales reps after, and they were pricing. So with Hannah, with your tools, you're going to get a default number. I think it's 300 contacts are automatically eligible for this. But if you want more, like if you've got 20,000 contacts that you want to follow, you can put 20,000 in, right? And you can just pay for the extra. The amount that the cost for the extra, it's 50% through Real Scout of what the other companies were quoting me for theirs. So it's half the cost.
yeah.
So it's great. I can't wait. I did the virtual thing last week. So yeah, I think it's bananas.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's jump off so that we can jump on.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. All right. Cheers, everybody.